Carter. If everyone please rise. You all would join me in the invocation, please. Father God, we come to you today, realizing the blessings that you extend to us every day, sometimes in wonder of how great they are and wonder of why. But all things are under your control for our good. Father, we ask you forgive us when we fall short, when we do not follow the way that you have laid out for us. But Father, guide us and help us to serve one another as you commanded us to do. And Father, we ask that you reach out and take care of those in our families that are ill or have lost someone. Father, we ask that you continue to reach out and take care of those in uniform that serve us all. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Can you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. I do have one presentation I want to make this morning on behalf of the court. And you know, I think we're pretty lucky to be able to consider where we were 4 weeks ago, Willie? Three. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay. Come on up here and join me, please, sir. All right. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to Mr. Willie R. Wall for 35 years of service to Wichita County. Congratulations on reaching your milestone service anniversary. Through your hard work, dedication, and loyalty, Wichita County is able to provide quality services to the citizens of Wichita County. In honor of your service, we are pleased to offer you a Choice Anniversary Awards gift. Please accept this gift as an expression of our gratitude for the contributions you make every day. On behalf of the Commissioners Court of Wichita County, presented this third day of May 2017. You weren't available last time on the 3rd. You were in hand-to-hand combat. But Willie, we appreciate you very much, my friend.
Speech.
It's been my honor and my pleasure to serve with 3 county judges, probably around 8 county commissioners during my 35 years of service. And I've seen the county grow and take on more responsibilities. And I want the citizens of Wichita County to know that the people here who serve them are striving every day to make lives better here in the county, to grow this county, and to protect the citizens. And it means so much to me, having experienced a slight incident past 3 weeks ago, and to have everyone come together and support me. I am blessed. I'm blessed in so many ways. You know, to have served with Judge Gossam, and Judge Nick Gibson, and Judge Tom Backus over these years, with Tom Callahan, and David Duke, Sheriff, and all the many office holders. We're always striving as Commissioners Court, to provide the resources that you need and the management oversight that helps you do your jobs. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I can't tell you how much it's meant to me and my family over these years. Thank you, Willie.
Willie, thank you, buddy. Yeah. While I'm up here, Sheriff, great job. Congratulations to you and everybody on the efforts put forth that you all did on getting the jail bond issue to be understood and voted on. I listened to one of the talking heads this morning who was saying, well, that just wasn't a big turnout and wasn't a big margin. And I thought, gee, that same talking head who was very happy when President Trump was elected was far less a victory than that, was sure happy there. I wish he were happy about this. This is progress. We're going to do our best to work together and see what we can do to do that facility, do it right, and care for it and continue on. But as I said the other night, the facilities we have are much like many things. They've reached end life. In fact, Sprague probably, we're probably, as you have said, we might be 10 years late on it. But we are at a critical point, and thank goodness the voters saw the value in investing in that facility. And our job is then to move forward with that. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate that. And the main thing people need to understand is not only the need, not only to understand the jail and just throw bad guys in it, but the support of the Commissioners Court to step up, to recognize the problem and to control the purse strings, who elected that we need to replace it. It's time. And after all these years, it's been going on 4 hours in office. I know since day one I was in office, it's been a problem. And I appreciate the court coming together. We've had countless hours of meetings and arguments and everything else about parts of the jail and everything about it. And we have to go back out to the public and talk about it. And some of us have constituents that don't believe we got to have it, and other people who said we'll build more than big enough to put them all in it, but they don't understand the reality that's mandated by the state to have a county jail, and that jail belongs to the county commissioner's court under the government codes. And sheriff gets operated and put bad guys in it and report everything. And I think the communication between this office and the court is better than it's ever been dealing with this jail, especially with the maintenance issues and things that we've evolved to now to have our own maintenance people to help maintain it and not try to put a Band-Aid on it and come back and fix it later on down the road with a multi-$100,000 worth of an issue to take care of. But once again, it is a very aging system. I'm just glad that it was passed. And I've had some people who already say something to us about, well, it barely passed. That's like you barely made a touchdown at the end of that game.
Yeah, I think there's a guy that can tell you that you can change everything in that last 30-second touchdown.
Yeah. We watched the Dallas Cowboys lose in the last 20 seconds and get more on the road. But we're just blessed, and I hope that the people that were against it will see the outcome and the savings that the county is going to come up through with the new facility and the operation and flow and what the inmates and the things that we can do with to actually make some money potentially with often some of the people that we get hold from the federal government and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities there to help pay for the facility as well. So I've been asked 100 times, what are you going to do with the old jail? So you need to talk to the judge, the commissioner, it's theirs. It's not up to me.
Well, there's a fair amount of scrap iron in it, but we'll see what happens with that.
A lot. We do it, but
All right. Thanks,
Daycare center. Hey!
it already is a daycare center.
Commissioners, I thank you all for your diligence and sticking with this and getting it through now. But I'm going to tell you, we haven't got all the way up the ladder, and it's steeper now than it was. But thank y'all.
Well, Sheriff said he was going to use us for taser practice if we didn't get it done. So
Now the work begins.
yeah, now the work.
You're right, Barry. It's
I think I did tell you, I talked to Brandon with the jail commission. He was very happy. He said, that takes a little burden off us. Now we're going to work with you all to get this done. So we appreciate Brandon Wood's support from down there. All right. If I could ask the court to look at the consent agenda.
Very large consent agenda.
Yes, sir.
There's lots of things on there. I'd make a motion, we accept it.
Oh, now there was a couple of,
Okay.
Let's hold, because I think I know Commissioner Harvey just mentioned one to me he wants to take off.
Okay.
Commissioner Watts, go ahead.
Judge, the, let me find it, excuse me. It was item, item number 11 was my,
Well, you and Commissioner Harvey are on the same track. That's scary.
and I marked up.
Well, 11 was moving the
Well, and that's the question on that, and I don't agree the contractor should be paid for that. they shouldn't have put that in place until the other work that was, the other side of it was done.
Well, and the real bad thing, Judge, is it didn't just block one operation, it blocked several.
It blocked several. It was just poor work coordination.
Not good.
And Judge, I also on 14 and 15, I had set out as well. I just had clarification maybe on those. The 14, the property coverage, is that our inclusive coverage of all property?
Mr. Wall.
It's all county property. It's listed on the tag inventory, fairly inclusive.
Is that 6 months or a year, Willie?
It's 1 year.
Is that a year?
And how did that differ year over year? Really, did you look at last year's number?
I think it's slower than last year. I'm not sure.
We typically don't have a history of claims with the property coverage, right?
No.
We've had one claim over 35 years.
Wow.
And that's a catastrophic deal, isn't it, Willie? Really? I mean, this is.
$50,000 deductible.
So,
What was
yeah.
it, Judge? 50?
50, yeah.
How much? 50?
$50,000
Yeah.
deductible.
Yeah. And the only claim we had was the year we raised it from 25 to 50 to save money, and Gordon Griffith was the only one voted against it, and dadgummit, he was right. We had that claim that year and paid the additional 25.
But is 50 where we need to be? I mean, that it wouldn't be advantageous to come up to 100?
It's, you know, we just can't see the future, so it's a yes and no, but it depends on what your toleration for risk is. I don't know how much going another 50,000 would lower the premium.
I think that's the question. It's a trade-off between the threshold there, and you know, you may not get a $5,000 decrease in your premium for another $50,000 worth of risk. So, that's
Timing's everything. Mr. Strong's here from Texas Association of Counties.
Just walked in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw that this was on your agenda, and I thought, well, I'll be here if you want to ask any
Well,
questions.
do you have some information on that?
Just kind of what's in my head. I can probably dig it up on my phone as far as what y'all paid last year. I can dig that up.
But the difference between 50 and 100?
There would be some difference on that. There surely would. In the whole total risk picture that y'all have, you know, you haven't had a lot of claims, but when that claim hits, you know, that's an extra 50,000. I would say you're not going to save that much.
Claire, would you hand him that microphone? Mike, there's
It's
yeah, all right
not really to
there.
amplify your voice, it's so that the people watching it can hear you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, it's not to amplify your
Very
voice.
good. Well, just to go back, yes, I can dig those numbers up from last year, and I was just here to thank you for the renewal that y'all have. Y'all currently have a $50,000 deductible. We have, just for matter of comparison, I think Taylor County carries a $25,000 deductible. Lubbock County carries a $100,000 deductible. Your risk tolerance, you know, I would say, I don't know what your where you're at on risk tolerance, but we can certainly get if you'd like, we can get a quote to you pretty quickly.
Be good information.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to bring your attention to, though, is something that you're not covering currently, and that's your mobile equipment. Y'all don't have coverage on your motor graders and backhoes and dump trucks through TAG. Now, you might have coverage somewhere else on that. But that may be something that you want to consider adding. I know we've got a lot of $250,000 motor graders out there.
we do.
Well, can I ask a question right quick? When we've got front end loader and a motor grader
All on lease.
on lease, those
Responsible.
have to
We're
be covered, right?
Yeah, if you're
Or
out
we're
on
self-insured,
We're
okay.
self-insured.
if you're out on a fire and you stall or
And burn
fall
the
off in a
ground.
ravine and burn yourself up,
It's all on us.
Yeah, we just lost a motor grader in a fire over Wheeler County here about a month ago. as well as a fatality,
that's
badly burned person.
One of the discussions that I always have with my operator when we go out, I said, remember, this is a $250,000 piece and we're self-insured. So we don't go into a fire situation without a fire truck with us. That's standard operating procedure. And so if you get hung up, you've got help with you, and that's just the policy we've set because we don't have that coverage.
Right.
And we can't take that risk with the people's money.
And the mobile equipment coverage, you can have a separate, smaller deductible on it, so you can get them, it's like $1,000 deductible, and then that covers even vandalism of tires and shooting windows out. It's not a real expensive coverage.
It's
What kind of
something we
insurance
ought
you
to
got
look-
on signs with bullet holes in them?
Yeah, I'd like to have some of that. I can collect this morning, as a matter of fact.
I'm thinking we might find an exclusion that,
Yeah.
for those things.
I think we've got one every Monday morning
Right.
that's pretty much gone.
Well, and that's what you get into with your risk tolerance and having it at $50,000 for all of your coverage. Any
Yeah.
kind of little minor thefts or anything up to that, y'all probably aren't even bothering to file. You're just paying the freight and going on. So just something to think about there. But we can certainly get you a quote. I can probably have that to you. Actually, I can try to have it to you before the end of court.
Well, if you could, we'll pull that item down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love, and we're in budget season, Judge, and we really need to compare those numbers and look at them because we're.
4%. I'm with you, Commissioner Muller. Mike, this is showing a 4.25% increase over 2015.
Okay.
What drives that increase?
What drives that is the Tier 2 wind and hail ratings and the losses that have been happening over the past 2 or 3 years across the state of Texas.
If you will notice, and I sit on a local board that has interest in an insurance company, and we review those numbers, Texas has had a horrible time the last 2 or 3 years, and all of your insurance rates are, if they're not up, they're going up because of the mainly hail and wind damage that we've had in the state over, and these companies they're reeling from some of the payouts. And guys, we live in a time when these payouts are large, and it's getting higher all the time. So if your insurance hasn't gone up, get ready, it's going to, and that's across the board, all companies. They're all pretty competitive, and ours is the very same thing. It's risk reward, and
That's true.
the
And
risk is high.
I'll also look at that number to see if the value of your properties has gone up since 2015. Was that the figure you said was 4%
Yeah,
higher than 2015?
109.9 in 2015
Okay.
as opposed to 114.6 today.
Okay. Well, I'll take a quick look at that, and I'll try to get y'all a quote on what do you want,
100.
Maybe a 75 and 100.
a 75 and 100, okay? I'll see if I can get that.
Okay.
And I'll get right back with you.
See, we can offset that some if we thought it was beneficial to go up, offset that with a extra 100,000 or urban improvement fund to take care of that deductible, and self-insure that end of it. If there's a savings there that's worth doing that.
Significant, yeah.
Sometimes you can finance that over a period of about 5 years if if it falls right, but that's something we need to look at.
So that's 14.
Mike, one of the other things we were talking about in this, is an item on here on our firing range. It'll have a classroom building out there. There are portable buildings that are being secured and put in there in the range area itself. So does that need to be added to that coverage?
If you have buildings, yes, we need the buildings reported and square footage, and then
Okay.
we'll have our appraisers come out and they'll appraise it at replacement cost value.
Okay.
Like we do the other properties.
It's 2,300 square feet.
Okay, so is it depending on the type of construction? Of the
Trailer
building?
house.
Pardon?
Trailer house.
Four
Four
trailer
trailers
houses.
put together. It's a
Okay.
That's
modular
modular housing. not
modular
a
office
trailer.
office space.
Modular mobile.
Modular office space.
Very good. We'll get that. We can get that added on anytime. Mr. Wall can send us just a description of that.
I was trying to see if there was a time period on this, we needed to act on this. Okay, begins July 1st, 2017, so.
And we can, if you want to go ahead and process your renewal, we can make these adjustments to it. I don't want to impede the progress of a renewal.
No, I don't either. I
situation.
don't want to have that gap in there.
But I'll certainly see if we can, I don't know if I can get quotes today, but
Okay.
we'll try to.
But what is I mean, does it matter? I mean, this renewal's for July. I mean,
We certainly have time on that. We've issued the renewal. Those have already been applied for and out, so that coverage is in place as is. But if you'd like to make a change prior to July 1st, then what we will do is go in and make those changes and adjust the billing.
What I don't want to have is an oops, and we get hit with a tornado on July 2nd, and we didn't have a policy in place for some reason. They will adjust and change if we want to, but I think my advice would be we go ahead and approve this today to have it. We've got plenty of time to get it, but if something happened we didn't, I've heard of that kind of thing happening. And I just sure think we ought to go ahead and
Like I say, the renewal is actually issued and in place right now. It's just a matter of y'all approving the bill.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to wait and let us
Okay, if
adjust the terms, we
All
can
right.
adjust the bill.
then it's recorded, Mike. You said we're covered.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You are renewed.
Okay.
Well, and we
There
need
will
to
be no
look,
gap.
and we need to look at these options in the budget process for 18, Judge.
Yeah, but we ought to look
part of
at
it.
your other equipment
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Mike, you can give us a inventory list of what we have covered? I mean, is that something that you can spin back out?
really has that. Yeah.
Yeah, we provide that with every renewal, each property location. And then just recently, we sent our company out to do property appraisals for replacement cost appraisals. And that includes, an estimate of the contents. It includes site improvements, fences, signs, light poles, and things of that nature on each of the properties. as well.
But for example, if let's say just tornado takes the entire roof off a Linderman building with the water cooler, we get it replaced we pay our deductible, you replace it 100%. There's no value associated with,
That
you
is
won't
correct.
say that, hey, the Linderman we've got estimated at $250,000, here's your $250. I know it's going to cost $4 to fix it, but
Now, we have what we call blanket coverage, which means that if a building takes more than what you have as the listed value on that, you have up to the fully insured value, which for this county, I believe y'all have about $95 million of property at replacement cost value. So I don't think you're going to run into any problems.
Well, we're probably going to double that
Getting there.
with our successful bond passage, so, yeah, it'll be $70 million ad. Yeah.
But you do have a very good rate right now. I was just looking at it on the way in, and it's, overall composite rated, it's, somewhere around 12 cents per $100. And that's quite a bit below the industry average out there.
I will warn you, we don't have the electronic signs like Austin telling you it's hands-free operation, but
Right.
we have the program in place, so don't have your phone in your hand
Very
while you're
good.
driving.
Very good. Well, I'll try to get those quotes for you, and
Okay.
so we'll, instead of having ballparks, we'll have some actual figures.
Workers' compensation, is that under your bailiwick also?
Yes, sir.
Did you get an email from me last week about adding 2 reserve constables?
I did, and I believe the answer on that is it costs about, if I remember correctly, about $100 per volunteer. And it does require, if you're going to cover volunteers, it requires a court resolution under the statutes. That's statutory.
Okay.
So if you want to cover law enforcement, and it's all or none, you don't pick and choose which ones. If you want to cover your volunteer law enforcement officers, then the court votes to do that, and it runs about $100 roughly
A
per
person
officer
per year?
Yeah. What we do is we provide since they're volunteers and aren't being paid, well, we put in like a $5,200 annual salary for them. But that
Okay.
mainly, that'll get them their medical coverage and indemnity coverage.
Okay.
If they're injured.
is there a W-2 issued on that?
No.
And on, how many volunteers, Judge, do we have?
Well, we would have 2 volunteer constables.
But does Dave have any that serve under the sheriff now? but
Reserve
in any
deputies?
No,
capacity?
I don't. Sheriff Duke, do y'all have any reserve deputies right now? Sir, you do? Okay. This would get them workers' compensation coverage for $100 a year, which I think would be a good thing. But this came up with Randy also filling in for David Blackerby right now. and ask about that. So, okay. Then, and if he picks up a sixth one sometime during the year, just notify you all and add that person to the coverage.
We just handle that at the renewal for the workers' comp.
Okay.
When Deb sends in the numbers, Deb and Ted,
Yeah.
they send those numbers in.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thanks, sir.
I'll
You've
do
sent me
research.
that stuff, but plan on, I think we want to do that and get them. So if, whatever you need to generate, do that for me, please.
And Judge, on that too, are those particular employees covered with any death benefit?
No, sir.
Now, if they
Well,
they
if
were
it's a
killed on
workers'
the
comp,
job, it would be
Yeah.
4 times or 5 times their annual pay, but they receive no annual pay, so.
The death benefit would be based on, I think there's a number of months of their salary, so that's based on that $5,200 salary.
Yeah, it's 4 or 5 times, I believe, mine. So it would be, there
Some,
would
but
be
not
some.
much.
I think it's only double, not 4 or 5 times.
No, I know it's at least 4, and it may
Jeff
be
can have his
5.
personal experience.
Yeah,
And there is,
that's what I was telling you on that.
For workers' comp,
Yeah.
but I think our insurance through TAC, if I read that right, it's, if you get killed on the job, it's 2 times your regular
Well, but
salary.
your workman's comp is just a flow-through Texas Mutual, right?
no, our workers' comp is our fund, it's our
Yeah.
pool.
It's a separate pool.
Oh, so maybe that
Yeah,
could be
and that
right.
could
You-
be.
I mean,
We operate under the same statutes for benefits, though, as Texas Mutual would. So you're correct, and it's whatever the statute allows is what we would pay. And you know, fortunately, we don't have to pay death benefits very often.
Well-
But they are there for a covered volunteer. But like I say, right now, y'all don't have any covered
well,
volunteers.
Mike, and that's what I was in reference to, Commissioner Harvey. We had an employee killed on the job, and because he had no beneficiaries, and the amount was at least 4 times, and it could have been 5, the state became the beneficiary. And of
correct.
course, it made our insurance go crazy because of that. But ludicrous that that's the case, but nevertheless, that's what happened.
That's correct. Anybody without a beneficiary, it goes into the state guarantee fund. So, and that's of no.
For what purpose?
That's to pay for claims if a carrier goes bankrupt or can't pay that. There is a fund there to take care of.
How large is that fund?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
There's not been a carrier go bankrupt, has there?
Not recently. Workers comp, I think the last one was employers insurance, but I'd have to check the records on that. But
It's a pretty nice gig, isn't it?
You know what? I bet you that makes a nice thing to balance your budget.
I bet it sure does help.
I know our TAC adjusters, we will work very hard to find a beneficiary, and, you know, we've given money to the parents of a deceased or a cousin, or, because we definitely would prefer to go to a family member. So we work real hard to make that happen.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
What timing, Mike? I have called Gene and tell him you are psychic.
Yeah.
I just read the agenda.
Okay. Okay. All right, then I take it we want to remove item 14 and remove item 11. Is there anything else?
And I just had a question on 15.
Yes, sir.
That clarification on exactly what that was, and then I noticed some correspondence with Hart as well.
Well, we want to leave 14 on because we're going to renew the coverage. Isn't that correct?
Well, he just suggested we wait on it. So, you know, it's up to y'all.
We've got a few days.
Okay. No, I understood we were going to renew, and then if we wanted to change it, we could. But maybe I misunderstood that.
Well,
Well-
I mean, nothing wrong with just giving
Either
them a
way.
little time to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we don't have to reverse anything, so we won't pay them credit. But we want to watch Nancy not let it run any more than 2 weeks. So,
Get back up. So dropping 11 and 14, is that correct?
yes, sir.
I'd make a motion, we accept the consent agenda after dropping 11 and 14.
And I'll second that motion with clarification on 15.
Okay, the clerk's here, I bet she can answer that.
Jeff, what those are, is the kits that they use at the polling locations, it has all their envelopes, their stuff that has to come back to the office.
And am I correct in noting that their Hart is wanting to come speak to us again concerning
That's going to be
maybe
on Thursday morning, yes, sir.
this week?
Yes.
Now, we order these kits every election.
Okay, but they're not coming to talk to us about kits. They're coming to talk
No.
to us about what they have proposed. Our equipment currently today is Hart, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you won't be here, you've got that probate school?
Correct.
You'll be at that. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the consent agenda with removal of items 11 and 14. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Commissioner Harvey, will you follow up on the one since you're the project manager out there? Thank you. Okay, item number 1 is review and approve the emergency and regular bills for payment.
Judge, we reviewed the bills on Friday. I'd make a motion that we pay the regular emergency bills.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the emergency and regular bills. Any comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 2 is discuss and review the jail maintenance work projects and work orders. Lieutenant?
Last week we completed 48 work and non-work orders. As of right now, we have a clear list. We don't have any open work orders. I haven't received anything this morning to add to the list, so as of right now, we have 0 open work orders.
Well, I don't know which we should celebrate more, the bond election or that. So, yeah. There'll be some replacements, but that's great, Andrew. Appreciate it very much.
Andrew, where are we at on the evidence room? Has Garland got the electrician out there yet?
I do not head that project. My hands are not in that pot.
Sheriff, where are we at on the evidence room? They're all your hands are in all those pots.
Yes, they are. They've been in a lot of hands and other hands this last few weeks. I don't know if the electricians have made it there yet. We'll find out today for sure. I know they're scheduled to be coming out. I'm not sure if there's I think there was a scheduling on the electrician's side rather than our side. We're open for business, but the other one, that was a week of last. I heard they were trying to get him in there because of scheduling issues.
When that's done, you will clear out, there's some rooms you're using currently in this building for evidence rooms, is that correct?
Yes.
There's one on the 4th floor, am I correct with that? That there's, no? Jill's saying no.
Not on the fourth floor.
Did there used to be one on the 4th
It
floor?
could have been at one
Okay.
time. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. No, it's been cleared out.
Okay, because there's a request for a different use of that
I
possible.
think somebody has it for storage. I'm not sure if it's us.
Yeah, because we removed the plumbing out of it, I think.
It's Patty that has some stuff up there now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Judge, on that, on the, what is the room, the classroom where we did the phone tutorials and then IT
That's
uses
the
it for?
4th floor. It used to be a chapel, and then it became a 4th floor courtroom, and now it's used for the IT training room.
Okay, well, there is a large walk-in closet right beside that door at the end of that hallway, and there is some very old auditor boxes in there, and then there's some very old file cabinets with combo locks on them, but all the stuff is 89 prior, but it is full.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that we get someone to work that up? Or
Empty it out.
I'm assuming that it can all probably be destroyed, but I don't know.
Well,
It's
yeah, we
aged
need to
out.
look at it and see whose it is, have that record holder. That
Well, the
sign
boxes
off.
appear to all belong to the auditor.
Okay,
And maybe at some point before they moved over there, it was storage for them.
yeah, because that goes back to prior to the current auditor then. Okay.
And then also on the closet that is catty-cornered from the, well, it is exactly behind the statue on the second floor outside of Butler's, between Butler's and the convenience, right in the stairwell there. There is a maintenance / IT closet there. And it's a...
The one between the stairs?
Yes, the one between the
Yeah.
stairs, and a lot of times they have to pull the maintenance stuff out to get to the servers that are back in that back part of that closet, and I just wondered if there was a more maintenance-friendly closet available.
I didn't know there was anything, I thought it was all maintenance, but there's
No,
something in
just the
there.
very
Big
back of
servers
it.
back
Yeah.
behind it now for whatever, I'm not sure what they do, but, and we could, but both of those, there would be two good areas that could be enhanced. There's some shelves like for inventory, Barry, on hand towels and
Yeah.
that kind of thing as
Yeah,
I
well.
knew, I knew the
Supplies.
maintenance stuff was in there. I didn't know there was
Okay.
any electronic stuff back there.
No, it's farther.
But what
It
is in the
won't.
closets right here up outside of our offices, when you go around Lori's doors, there are big double doors right there that have some units in them, I believe.
That's
Yeah.
Do they-
HVAC, yeah.
But do
Yeah.
they keep storage there as well?
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Not in there.
There isn't supposed to be. But
Could that
things get-
electronic stuff go over in the telephone room across the hall?
I don't know.
Would that be better? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I
that
don't
would
know.
be if, because
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that they cleaned out from the old system.
Yeah,
but
because
if
there
that's-
should be some room with the new system.
Yeah.
I haven't looked in there since they did it, but that was supposed to open some of that space up. And I don't know what that would undertake, trying to move that stuff. It may be
It's
prohibitive.
coming down through the stairwell where those openings
Yeah.
are, is where they're coming in from the floors and dropping down. And I don't know if that's why they chose that or.
Is it our equipment? I mean,
It's our equipment.
Well,
in-house-
and it
in-house
may
stuff?
be going away
Yeah.
when we move to the cloud-based system. So we might want to look whether there's any reason to go to the expense of moving that if it's going to go away.
Yeah, that's
I'd
Well,
say
we
a
can
visit with George would be a,
see what,
yeah. Okay.
No, I didn't, I thought that was all maintenance. I'd not ever looked, I guess, in the back of it, but
Okay. Item number 3 is discuss and consider take action to accept a bid from Lance Spraggins for erosion control for the berms at the new Wichita County Sheriff's Gun Range. Commissioner Harvey?
So moved.
second,
Okay, I got a couple of questions on that.
okay.
Now, this is not going to happen right away because when you were explaining some of it to me, there's some grading and leveling that they're working on now that's required before he sprays. Is
We're
that
almost
correct?
finished.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then the second thing, it's not fair. It says how many days notice before you go out there on the sheet he gave us. It's got a T in there.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's a non-issue.
Okay. And then he wants to be paid within 30 days. We pay invoices from the time he invoices it. He needs to understand the state allows you 30 days from the receipt of that.
I'll tell him. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He does a lot of work for TxDOT, so I'm pretty sure he understands that. But I'll make sure.
Okay. Just so,
Okay.
there won't be disappointment there. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Mahler to approve the item. Any comments or questions? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we are down, Mr. Hampton. Discuss and consider take action to approve the county treasurer's reports for February and March 2017 and authorize county judge commissioners to sign affidavits certifying compliance with section 114.026C of the local government code for February and March.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
February and March, we'll give you some of this. Taking back Mr. Wall's comment about the slack deal that he had to go through, my gosh, I hope I don't have an experience of making it.
Yeah, no kidding. There wasn't much margin in that deal, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Here's a copy of that check that you just scratched. I know you'd want a copy of that. And I'll give this to Nancy. Just a quick preface, before I begin my journey here as county treasurer. I worked for Smith Barney for 10 years. I held a Series 7, a 63, and a 65. And so people that do watch this, it's not like being congratulated on our guys over your guys, but to realize the definite need of a new jail. The people in my circle of friends, as the sheriff has pointed out many times, our jail is over 50 years old, and the Sprague deal, who I want to commend Lieutenant Ian McMurtry, led me through a tour of that 2 weeks ago, just to refresh my memory on that pitiful situation out there that we've put up with for a long, long time. And the people of Wichita County need to know that that situation out there is going to be resolved with a new facility. And the other side of it is, what better time to build something because of the lower interest rates that we're going to be able to accomplish and actually save a lot of money. The other side of it is that the sheriff now has the ability to protect his own officers out there at Sprague. And because as you guys have all been through there, a lot of people don't realize those pods are just out there with all kinds of people, murderers commingled with 19-year-olds. And so...
Sheriff doesn't do that. Come on now, Bob.
So,
Unless they're 19-year-old.
Oh, unless they're a 19-year-old murderer. Yeah. Segregation.
Texas Jail Commission says they're not murderers because they're not guilty until proven.
They're still classified by the charge pending against them.
So, but the sad thing about this, we've got to do something to stem the ongoing rise in our attendance rate out here at the Duke Hilton. So anyway, February and March.
If you build it,
you're
they
looking
will
at
come.
it, Commissioner Watts is looking, those are our real numbers, and so you see that. The two reports that I give you are copious reports. The February issue for the trailing 12 months, we're actually 13% ahead of where we were 12 months ago in February of 16. And we're 12% ahead in the March account where we were in March of 16. Now, the bottom line of that is these reflect borrowed dollars.
Yes.
And that check that we're sending out today is going to balance everything out because that's out of that bank account that I told you, let's don't go there. But you guys chose to do that anyways, and that's that 401 account.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, I'd recommend a debit for that, clearing out that fourth floor deal. That'd be a job right up here. So I'll go up to
You need
Well, it has to
Willie's
do with
dollar,
finance.
Devin,
You may
I
need a
promise.
coworker
It's all
from,
the
you know,
good-sized
to be sure
boxes.
those were auditors.
Yeah, I've got my dolly in the truck, I think. You need that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we are.
Well, now, if we get the bonds between now and the end of the year, think what your report's going to be for about,
30 days,
September.
yeah.
So, how many? We'll be 100 and some odd % ahead, Bob.
It's going to be, as Elmer Fudd said, old woman.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to spell that.
Are we noticing anything on, that we did some things to increase revenues in two areas this year to come in and help offset expense in the civil process fees. I don't know whether you've noticed if you've been able to see any increase in that, and then our partners on the consolidated tax collection are paying us more than they were. Does that do you have any ability to look at and say, yeah, that's been positive, we're ahead of where we were a year ago?
On the tax side, yes, we are definitely ahead of where we were a year ago.
Okay, on property
Civil
tax
fees-
collection,
fees
but
and fines, that's a hard one to call, Judge. we could probably give you some sort of comparisons, but,
Well, I just didn't know if those deposits were up enough to make it noticeable whether that's been a good plan or not.
absolutely. They really are.
And then-
I mean, all that
Is
goes
it-
over there, they're doing a great job.
Bob, like your breakout on what the judge is saying, could we take a snapshot of last year, April, and this year, April, to see, you know, you showed us, or
Fines and
showed me
fees.
a fund breakout of all those categories. Would it have any significance or relevance to look at it a year over year like that at the same time to see if, or are those funds so ever flowing that it's hard to get a read on it?
Shouldn't be, shouldn't be, it'll be,
The auditor has that.
yeah, I mean,
Well, it'll help you decide if your policy move was correct. I mean, and that's really what we're
Well,
looking
I
at.
just didn't know
Yeah,
how
that's
they
one of the-
swept them and how,
yeah, that's one of the copious things that I do in my office is those breakdowns of all fees and fines down to 2 cents.
right.
They're still laughing about that safety seat for the children's deal. I think the whole state collected somewhere around $300 in 16.
Yeah. But despite their claiming to be broke and everything happened, they're giving away money as fast as they can pass bills to do it. Or giving away revenue, excuse me, is a more correct term.
Bob, I noticed year to year, we've got about a $1.8 million reduction in permanent improvement, and that would, now, Judge, that include the Sprague roof, is that correct? About 900,000, wasn't that out of permanent improvement?
Yeah.
And what else? What other project did we do?
Lori Bohannon's office.
No, that
No,
would
that
have
was
been in the
prior to
last
that.
year,
That
that was
was-
prior to that. I was trying, I can't
We had a
recall,
few small,
just small things. We
Yeah.
didn't do another major
no, but
project.
that roof project was a big one.
It was the big one, and it was up near $1 million, so.
But
Okay.
you also had, we also took out of that fund the $300,000 we did catch up with.
Oh, our
Yeah,
our you
remediation.
bet, remediation, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that got us to about probably 1.2, 1.3 on that jail project.
And
Okay.
You
And then
added,
some other,
we added 2 staff members, one in each jail, and
Yeah.
so, you know, that all sorts of add up. So,
But on that election, I don't agree with the comments about it being an apathetic approach. I think most of the people in Wichita County have a lot of confidence in the sheriff. They have a lot of confidence in you guys. And that's probably the reason for the low voter turnout, because they know, hey, this is needed. And
you know, and several people said that kind of
we
thing.
did get the word out, I thought, pretty
No,
well.
no. You know, so, you know, but the other thing, if you look at it for a May election, that was a normal turnout. You know, that's what
It's
people
just
don't
that
realize. The
we
May
don't
election.
generally have that kind of a issue on the May election, I think is the
Yeah.
deal.
So,
Of all the votes cast in Wichita County, 20% of them come out of Burke.
Did the tax deal pass or fail in Burke?
we had it outside.
Well, it wasn't in Burke.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be.
Well, I mean, in the rural area.
In that
of
area,
Burke.
She hasn't cut a report
we
like
hadn't
that.
broke that out yet.
All right. Things look,
Any other questions?
no, sir, looking good. Thank you. Could I have a motion then to approve the item?
So
as-
moved.
Second,
Was there a reason for this one?
he just wanted to show us that that
Oh,
check had been
Yeah,
Oh,
cut.
that's going in the mail, right?
Yeah.
Did you get it, Mike?
I was wanting to cash that. When I was the first saw that, but thought that was compensation.
We have a motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Muller to accept the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Mike's back with your quotes.
Mr. Strong, do you have anything for us?
To get those numbers, just going back historically, 2015, y'all had it cost $109,928, and that was for $82 million worth of property, roughly. 2016, it went up to $111,000, so it went up about $2,000 to cover $95.6 million. And then this year, at the 50,000, it goes up another like $2,800, and it covers 95.8 million.
And what's the value increase, Mike?
Well, that's the difference in the value went from last year to this year from 95.6 to 95.8 million.
But who's adjusting that number?
That's automatically adjusted, or it takes into account any properties that have been added since last year. When we provide that full replacement cost appraisal on that, then every year we use a trend and we plug that back in. The appraisal company we're using, it actually, they go out and get construction costs, so that sometimes trends up a little, sometimes it trends down a little if construction costs are down.
But the 2015 number was $10 million lower than the 2016. What drove that?
We came in and did a refresh on the appraisals. We do those appraisals about every 4 or 5 years to make sure that they stay current with market.
I see.
Those are great questions. As far as quotes go, if you guys wanted to go with a $75,000 deductible, that would drop it to $105,025.
With the 75?
Yes, sir, with a $75,000 deductible. And then at a $100,000 deductible, it would drop it to $98,498. And then I got another quote for a $25,000 deductible if you wanted to look at going the other way. So a $25,000 deductible would be $129,207. So that would cost you roughly $15,000 more to take $25,000 off of a deductible. So
The other way would take 3 years in savings to amortize, set aside that $17,000 would.
It's just cover the 25 in about, what, 1.7 years, or you could fully cover it in 2 years. That'd take you to 30 savings.
probably, a lot of it may be your internal procedures too about what gets turned in as a claim. Well, y'all may have had a lot of claims in the past that you really haven't really turned in.
Only one ever, yeah.
Yeah, and probably
But he's
y'all
talking
just
about what's
turn in a big
turned in
claim.
that
If you have
exceeded.
smaller claims, you know, it may be the culture. Everybody just says, well, the county just pays for it. So
Well, what is covered? I mean, obviously hail on the roof, wind damage.
theft, fire, you know, wind damage, hail, tornado. It's all peril coverage. And
What,
it's
vandalism covered?
Sure.
There's your stop sign, Lee, right there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's our Linderman destroyed elevators.
Absolutely, been stripped.
Yeah. It also covers your what we call equipment breakdown coverage for your chillers, your air conditioning, HVAC systems
Oh,
of that
really?
nature. If there's a lightning strike or something knocks
Oh, okay.
out those things, and that's why typically most of our counties actually, most of them are smaller, but most of them carry like $1,000 deductible
So is it per occurrence, 50,000 per occurrence?
per occurrence. Yes, sir. So
And per occurrence could mean one day,
could be one storm.
one storm.
One storm.
Okay.
We paid Taylor County, they had one storm, and it hit 20 buildings. And they paid, one deductible.
What about water damage from like a busted pipe or?
Water damage from leaks and things like that. We have coverage for that. Yes, sir.
You always think about that with an upstairs jail.
Yeah, see, we hadn't turned some of that kind of thing in where condensation line clogged up or some of those kind of things because it was a nominal.
Yeah.
No. So it's just a matter of y'all taking a look at, your risk tolerance and how you want to handle that. Typically, our pool, we don't have big rate increases if somebody has losses. It's pretty well spread across everybody. I mean,
But what we're not doing a good job of, Judge, is turning in those small losses to total up towards our deductible across the year so that
But
if
they're-
something did
It's
happen.
per occurrence, per occurrence.
They're not going to accumulate.
They won't accumulate.
it is per occurrence.
Oh,
From a risk
yeah.
management standpoint, I would say you'd always be better to track those things, have people turn them in. Then you have data to go by. Then you have
Gives
real
you a better
numbers.
idea of what you need.
Yeah, over a long time period.
And
you can
Judge,
adjust
that condensation line stop up where I think in the DA's office we had some time ago, but that wound up being of what, a $3,000 or $4,000
Yeah.
deal or something, so, you know, those kind of things. But it could be big, it could have
Yeah.
been considerably.
But you'd have to look at, if you went down to the 25, you know, you dropped way back down there, then you've got to look at how much does it take you, you know, how many of those you're going to claim. You know, you've got to get down into maybe the 5,000 before the small
Yeah.
occurrences are going to be
Yeah.
beneficial, and I'm not sure the premium versus the claims is going to balance out.
I think you're right.
Because I'm just looking at this 100K, and like I say, it only take 3 years to put aside that $50,000
Yeah.
extra we're talking about to cover that.
Well, that was my point, and, you know,
But it would be
maybe we need
100,000,
to,
not 50.
maybe we
Well,
need
we're
to
already-
look at the
we're
higher
standing up for
deductible and
50.
just, and have an extra 100,000 sitting back in a fund to, you know, to offset that. I don't know,
Provided you
that's-
don't have that storm.
We need that on a spreadsheet, Jeff,
Yeah.
so we can set and
Well,
what if
but,
it.
so I'm clear that if we have 10 occurrences across the year for 5,000 each, we don't satisfy our deductible.
No, sir,
no.
it's, each deductible is per occurrence.
Okay.
But if you get in a scenario, Judge, like your point, where you've got a water leak due to condensation line stopped or whatever, and you've got to have the cleanup companies come in and do that, it gets expensive in a
It
hurry.
could, yeah.
If you have to bring.
You had a
the-
major
if
deal
you
like
have to
that.
bring the professionals in to, you know, to dehumidify and clean all that stuff up, boy, it runs up in a hurry. That would be.
But Mike, if I
major
blow the
event.
roof off 3 buildings, I don't have a 50 per building.
That's correct.
No.
Okay.
As long as it's the
In
same
one
cloud.
storm.
As long as it's the same
cloud,
occurrence.
Same occurrence.
Same deal.
So, we took an option, I believe, this year on if we had other than an equipment failure, if we had lightning strike and put one of the jails out of commission due to no HVAC equipment, then we've got the coverage, I'm thinking, to cover that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that coverage, actually, you have some, what they call gross earnings and extra expense coverage. That if you have a jail shut down and it costs you out of pocket to house those inmates elsewhere, you have some coverage for that. And you can actually buy higher levels of coverage for that, up to $10 million.
Yeah.
And for, I'm not sure what y'all carry right now. but
I'm thinking it was in 1, 3, 5, and 10 or something like that. I
along
think
those
we're
lines.
at 3.
But
Do we
it
have
doesn't
our
cost
EMO
very
stuff
much at
covered?
all to do that.
The office area?
Well, yeah, with all the equipment in it, the radios and all that room full of flashing lights back there.
Yeah.
So we have some inventory coverage if we've got $1 million worth of voting machines sitting in a barn and the
Yeah,
barn
that's a
blows
good
away,
point, yeah.
we're covered for the voting machines?
Yes, sir.
And
That's where I was trying
Well,
to
that's the
think of.
way to go.
Where is our density of equipment? And that is one place where
That's-
we've got,
Yeah. If I recall correctly, the last
we've
time
got exposure there.
we met about that, y'all had one building that was in the flood zone, and that's where y'all were storing some things. I think we talked about, y'all were gonna get them up out of that.
That'd be
And we
the
can do
EMO.
that, can't we? Yeah.
well, and then also, for example, Mike, for at least another 3 years, we have to be concerned with a large transformer at the Sprague Jail Annex that we own and we're responsible for. So if a lightning storm came in and took that piece of equipment out, we are covered on that transformer from an insurance perspective. We'll pay the first 50 or 75, whatever we go to, but
That's all part of your county property, and that's what's covered under the plan for all of
When the
those
electricity
jails.
goes down and we have to move prisoners, that's still covered.
Yeah, there may be some special things about how the utilities, if somebody else's utility goes out, it has to be because of a covered loss. In other words, if there's a storm that came in that, I believe, I'd have to do some research on it, but if a storm caused that damage to somebody else's property that affected yours, then
Yeah,
I believe the
I don't
coverage
How about
is
a
there.
We wouldn't be
snake in a
covered.
breaker box?
Yeah.
Would that be,
We had that.
we've had that.
Yes,
Very crisply fried, but he
Yeah.
took us out of business for a while.
wow.
So, That starts to sound like, who's that, whose commercials are it?
We're
He's
there
the guy
doing it.
that-
Yeah, we've been
That's
there.
in that
We've-
museum,
yeah,
we've been there,
we've
done
done
that,
that.
yeah.
But-
Farmers,
Farmers, yeah.
But Mike, like on our policy, and speaking of that transformer, which would be over $250,000, how is it viewed as property in our property list? Is it even listed?
It's be covered as the contents. Now, is it sitting at a covered location?
no,
It's not
It's
covered
outside.
itself.
Okay. We have coverage for contents at miscellaneous unnamed locations. So wherever your property is, it will.
But
be
it's
covered.
definitely outside. I mean, it's a
It
big.
sits outside?
it's
big as that
outside.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, it wouldn't hurt to turn that in as on the schedule.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just to make sure we're clear on that. There may be some sublimits on miscellaneous unnamed, and I can't remember what those sublimits are. But
It's
there is
outside,
coverage.
but it's supposed to be outside. I mean, that's where it functions, and
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
very good.
Good
You
info.
call, give me a shout if you need anything.
Will you get that
do
written
need
up
all that on.
and
Sure, I'll
have
just-
somebody email that to Willie?
Just
You
go
bet.
down the line.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will it
Thanks,
take us
Mike.
2 years to get here, and a year?
Okay.
I mean, that's what
Any
you really look
staff
at.
reports to be given at this time?
Home and Road project, phase 1 of 3 phases, 4 phases really, is about 95%. We're starting phase 2 this morning. I've invited all the precinct foremen to come and witness the machine that's zipping up that road. It's amazing. I mean, what would have took us a week to do, did it in an hour and a half. I mean, it's huge. So, and that's very, very, very cost effective, $5,000 a mile. On the gun range this morning, I've talked to Antes. They are the ones that's doing the gunite. They're delivering material today. The gunite people should be here Wednesday. We got with Trinity Hughes this morning. Mr. Myers will be completed with the installation of our classroom by the end of business today. And the electricians have been scheduled to arrive tomorrow morning.
Guys are hauling dirt, finishing off the berms.
They will be doing final touch-ups on the south side of the pit. This morning, they're out there preparing the soil for the parking lot.
Hindsight is 20/20, and gosh, it would have been beneficial if we would have moved that thing north about 20, 30 yards.
50.
We didn't know it at the time,
Yeah.
but looking back now, it would have really made a difference. And
Moved.
the
Move the whole thing
structure
north.
so that we
So we
can
can
slope
slope
the
the south-
outside wall.
South side, like
We don't
did.
have room next to that road to really get it where we want it, but it's going to be workable, but
Okay.
It's looking pretty good.
You and I talked about a deal of sloping that on out into that utility right of way, and so you could work it.
Yeah.
But in what Lance is going to spray, don't you need to tell him, here's the line, because we're going
He's
to go back?
not going to spray. We're going
or-
to install pads.
Well, I mean,
seeded
install the pads, but they're not going to come all the way out to where the dirt is now, because you're
No.
going to put a barrier there.
I don't think we're going to have to do that.
Oh, okay.
I think they had to really tighten their seatbelt because if you feel like you're going to turn over.
Oh, yeah,
But we rented a little skid steer,
yeah.
and if you back up and back drag, we've been able to accomplish that.
Oh, okay.
That sideways stuff,
Yeah, that's
it's,
scary. Well, it ruins seats.
yeah, they have big old holes
Nip
bitten out
seats.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there. It's not a fun feeling. All right, any other comments?
Today's Commissioner Beecham's birthday. I'd like to wish him a happy birthday, even though he is on his way back from Talladega. Lucky rascal. That's a pretty good birthday present.
Anyway.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else?
Well, I want to thank Claire Ash for coming out Saturday night. Alex, we'd love to have you too, buddy. It was good, get together, great group of friends, and just to watch this thing. So I know there's a lot of hard work put in on everybody, and including your behalf, all of the work that and the reporting that goes on concerning this across time. So now it may be fun to talk about something else for a little while. So anyway, I'm glad that the Sheriff, we've accomplished that mission and hurdle, and so I'm looking forward to the next year and see what kind of cool plans that are laid. And I would like for us to consider, and I've always liked the name, but is there anything wrong with adapting one or adopting one name for this facility, which is the Law Enforcement Center, period? I mean, does the Law Enforcement Center not encompass the jail so that it's not the Law Enforcement Center / county jail, and then we can put a sign up that says Wichita County Law Enforcement Center and just encompass the whole ball of wax?
Yeah.
I've actually had been a deputy sheriff back in the 80s. We were partners, and we were actually personal friends. He was one of my best friends at the time. He drowned in Lake Arrowhead in a fishing accident. It was Glenn Whitmire. He's from Albany. His family's from Albany. And it was a tragic drowning. There was 3 deputies out there fishing, and they were coming back, and the boat had a loose trim in it, and the guy driving the boat, it wasn't his boat, but they were trying to get back pretty quick because Glenn had to go to work at 3 o'clock on shift. We were second shift patrol deputies. And they hit a wave, certain way, and the boat just turned hard left and ejected all 3 of them. And the driver of the boat was lucky enough to be able to swim. He got to the island at the Lake Arrowhead. He actually got to a tree about 30 yards from the island and hung onto there. And the owner of the boat, he was a past chief deputy under Sheriff Callahan. He was able to. He was an ex-Navy, so he could float pretty good and keep himself up. But Glenn, who grew up on that lake fishing with his grandfather and his dad, that one particular day, instead of wearing tennis shoes, he had cowboy boots on, and he was fighting to get the boots off. And the former chief tried to help him just to calm him down so he could stay above, get his head above water, so he could go under and get the boots off. And after several attempts, he never came back up. And they notified. It took them about 2 hours to get to the island. The boat actually kept doing circles around them, ran out of gas, and actually floated back to the island. And they actually got back in it, and then they were able to paddle back to the closest dock to get help. At that time, Glenn never resurfaced. We were notified, and we were allowed to go out, several of us on shift with the game wardens at the Clay County Sheriff's Office, and start dragging operations. And about sundown, they found a pretty good object on sonar that believed it was probably going to be his body. And we returned the next morning before daybreak, and within an hour, when I was there, we located Glenn's body and brought it to surface, and was able to have it pronounced. And real tragic, real tragic. He was a criminal justice major at MSU, one of the nicest guys you could run across. Never said a foul word, just a good country boy, and very well-educated young man who wanted to be in law enforcement, and did his best part to help protect this community. And so I was going to do a proposal to send it to the court to see about a name for that law enforcement center, the Whitmire Law Enforcement Center, in lieu of his memory. Being a county employee that he didn't die in the line of duty, but he did die in a tragic way while he was a deputy sheriff in this county. And so that's my idea.
But nevertheless, it could work that way as well.
Oh, sure could.
Yeah.
Sure could.
Good. Well, that'll be good to consider then.
Okay. Anything else?
This weekend, go barbecue?
Oh, man, is it really?
Yep.
Friday.
This weekend, Cajun Fest downtown Wichita
Well, but that's
Falls.
Saturday, right? So you could still come eat some fish Friday?
Yes, Friday. Saturday the 19th.
Is downtown.
This is
Yeah.
downtown. We're gonna cook 5,000 pounds of crawfish.
Always good.
Always good. Crawfish, potatoes, and corn.
Yeah, I noticed a letter from the Elks Lodge asking for help to help bring everything back, clean it up, and put it away after that.
They're doing,
That's always the missing link, isn't it?
Different booth? Yeah, okay.
Crazy Catering is doing the crawfish. And I believe the Elk Lodge is doing shrimp and etouffee, something else. But yeah.
Well,
So it's a great event.
I want Barry to report on the Iowa Parks big Saturday. I was amazed at how many people
Big
starting
crowd.
early in
Big
town
crowd.
there was.
They were there the night before. Matter
Yeah,
of fact,
that
camped
just
out.
draws them in, those people, and love to
Yeah.
view those cars coming through town,
Yeah.
in town, and
Good
set
event.
up.
Weather fell beautiful, and that really made a difference. But a good event, Park Fest.
I could not park at Allsup's about 8:30 Saturday morning because the parking lot was that full.
Yeah, there was
People
it was a good
stopping to
crowd.
grab a Coke or whatever, you know.
Good crowd, good turnout. Chamber of Commerce does it every year, and it just, once again, boy, the weather just felt beautiful. That made a big difference. But a good time was had by all,
That's what I gathered.
especially me.
The burnout and then the cruise as well. The burnout's kind of interesting, isn't it, Barry?
It is. We get our old cars out about twice a year. We go to that one and we go to Vernon in August, and that's about it.
Well,
So,
I've seen an F-250 smoke them down and hardly move.
it was
Was
his
that my
company
truck?
truck. It was
Is
a
that-
county vehicle. No, not quite. Yeah, that was. They got. I think a former one of the old Crown Vics was in it,
Yeah, I
and
saw
did
that.
very well. Matter of fact, still smoked tires. So
Also on the 13th, Saturday, Burke Burnett has their Taste of Town.
That night,
That night, yeah, starts at 6.
wow, that's a busy weekend.
busy weekend. You know, that was the thing about the cruise that I was really so happy about. They had a big show in Altus. They had the big weekend in Nocona, which drew a bunch of stuff, and we still had a great turnout in Iowa Park. So, boy, a lot of competition.
Yeah.
These spring weekends are
Yep.
pretty busy.
Last weekend, Nocona had a car show. Big.
That's what I said. They had one in Altus and one in Nocona.
Yeah, well, there's a Burke boy took his pickup over there and won Best in Show and Best Paint Job and something else. He cleaned up. He was all happy in Sunday school. He was all bragging, you know, and old pickups. They love them things. But yeah, they were really busy.
I think that was the one they painted over in Iowa Park, wasn't it? Wasn't that
We
it?
did, yeah.
Downtown.
You know,
Burke Burnett.
when somebody made the allusion a while ago, that could have been a county pickup in that, but one year at the Vernon Tractor Pull, the battery commander there took an M880
Had a tank.
retriever
I was there.
out there.
I
Were you there?
remember.
Yeah, there was a
Right, I was
no
there.
contest there. But,
I remember that.
he did get some inquiry about doing that, but it was great.
You bet. I remember that.
All right, anything else? Okay, it is 11:17 and we're adjourned.
We don't have anything this afternoon, do we?
No, sir, we don't, but we got a full rest of the week. By the way, I had a note to say that.
I have it.
We've got Tuesday starting at 9 budget hearings,
All
and
day.
they'll run